Hey, everybody. It's time for purposeful productivity. So glad to have you in the building with me this evening. I am Florence Donald and I am your host. And I want to invite you because tonight we're going to talk about something that I use every day. And as you may not know, for those who are new here and have never tuned in, I talk about the processes I use, the struggles that I have, the tools I use, the technologies that I use in the realm of productivity. So, tonight we're going to talk about automating techniques that you can use in a digital notes application. And I'm going to use a specific notes application that I use. So I'm sharing this, but you can use whatever digital notes app that works for you. So you don't ever have to come in and use what I say what I use or what I suggest you use. Find the one that works for you. The main thing is for you to adapt the ideas and get them working for you so that you're getting rid of friction in your productivity systems. So, let me tell you a little bit about this channel. This channel, Equip Institute, is where you get strategies, tactics, and approaches for doing just that, reducing the friction in your productivity system and getting organized so you accomplish your important goals. Now, who am I? Who is Florence? Florence is a coach for purpose driven leaders, and I do that through videos such as this, blogs. I love writing, so I write blogs and other things. I use one on one sessions and webinars and community get togethers to provide those services or coaching to you. And I am trying to get to my comments here so I can see y'all who's out there. We got some folks in the building, and I want to say hello to you before I start going on about the content this evening. So I'm going to say hello to Frank Jackson, moderator and community manager. Welcome, Frank. Thank you for being here. And another moderator and my graphics person and my all around keep me straight and tell me when I'm being goofy and I'm not paying attention. The emotional CEO. Thank you for being here serving. And hey, tech troublemaker Roy, so glad to have you in the building with us this evening. Love to hear your comments on this topic. And we have one of our new moderators. Moderator, salute to you, ma'am. Inanea, so glad to have you here. I need to get some information to you and get you all together. Yes, the live tribe is here. And I want to say hello to Dr. Otang. Dr. Otang is a medical professional, and if you're not, and he does holistic medicine. And that's the way I'm gonna describe it because that's what it feels like to me. So if you're not watching his content and paying attention to what he's putting out, I would encourage you, especially if you're a health conscious person. I know somebody in this tribe who's very health conscious. So Dr. Otang would be someone that you want to listen to. So I encourage you to go over. And if you put the word equip, EQUIP in the chat, your channel will come up and people will come in and can come over to your channel and get to you very quickly. So, welcome those who are here with us already, and I am glad to have you. So, what tool am I going to talk about? And I had it up on the screen. I'm going to talk about drafts, DRAFTS, and you can get it at getdrafts.com. It this just up front, and I have it on the screen. This is not sponsored. I don't have an affiliate link for you. It's just I've used this app for many years, and it is my quick capture tool. I have it on all my devices, so let me tell you how you can use it. This is a Mac only app, kind of, and I'll tell you why I say that, but I have it on my computers and I have it on my tablets and I have it on my phones. I use Mac devices. But when I'm not on a Mac device, there's a web app so that I can use it to at least enter content into the application when I'm not on a Mac device that Drafts is installed on. So it has a web client. So getdrafts.com. very vibrant computer tool and note-taking app, and it'll look like there's nothing there. And later on tonight, I'm going to show you a little bit about how I use it on the desktop so that you can really see what I mean when I talk about automating and going through setting up very specific workflows so that it's easy for you. And I'll share some of the ones that I use regularly using it. So that's the first thing. What is the app? For you, it could be something else, but this is the one I'm going to talk about today. So, what I want to do today, and hello, Yolanda. I loved your show last night where you put out I'm veering off, squirrel. And yeah, those ravens. Glad to have you in the building. I'm going to walk through the interface of the software on the desktop. I did not hook up a phone so I could show you what it looks like on a phone. However, if you download it, I would say you can just download the free version. Don't get the paid version, just download the free version and get used to that. But some of the things we're going to walk through today is creating notes, sending those notes to email, setting up a project, a note set up in a specific way so that I can create a project in my task management software. You've heard me. If you've ever listened to this channel, I frequently will say the way I do projects, especially recurring projects, I have them set up so that I hit a button and they go into my task management software. How can brainstorm and do brainstorm task lists when I'm just capturing them and I want to get them into my task manager. And then a few other automations around different types of notifications and reminders and how I have things, templates set up for different types of notes. So that's kind of a little bit of what we'll do. We'll walk through that interface. And so I'm going to get there, however, I want you to understand some. I ran through them, but I want you to take note of these and start thinking for yourself, how is this, what are the kinds of ways this would make sense for me? What are some of the use cases or examples in my own life for me, for you, Roy, Yolanda, Dr. Otang, Inanea, Frank, emotional CEO? What are some ways that I myself can see using this concept of automating my notes? Because that's where it's going to make the most sense to you. It's when you can put yourself in the position of using it. Okay. So, what are some of the examples? One example is if you're planning an event, you're an event planner, whether it's virtual or in person or hybrid, and you have a bunch of emails to send out, a set of emails that you want to send out, and you want to build the templates and not be in your email system. That's one example. Hey, David Hunt, glad to have you in the building. So you're planning some kind of event somewhere, and you've got a set of 2, 3, 5, 10 emails that you need to systematically send out, and you want to plan them out, write them out, and have a way to get them out into your email system very quickly. So that's number one. Number two is you run some level of an organization, a small business, a volunteer organization, whatever the organization is. Dr. Otang has a practice. He runs an organization. So you want to send weekly reminders to your team, and you've got several, and sometimes you want to change them, but you don't want to have to do a lot to change them. This is a way that you can write them, have them stored, and make modifications, and then the automation just kicks in for you. So, and you don't have to change the automation, you just change the context or the content of that you're pushing out. Another one is you're a project leader. I'm not saying a project manager, I'm saying a project leader. So you're leading a project somewhere. Again, it can be in a small business, it can be in your job, it can be in your home, it can be in a volunteer organization, but you're in these meetings for these projects, and you need to take notes and keep track of what happened, who made what commitment, when are things due, what are the next steps, and you want to have a systematic way to do that, and you're not starting over all the time. I'll show you a template that I set up for I'll tell you later, but I'll show you a template that I set up, and I have been using this template now probably 6 years at least, and it still works. Then the last one is you're a coach, me, and you just need to capture and organize your commitments. That, you do lot of brain dumping. Me, my brain is going all the time. So I'm capturing, "Oh, I should do this. Oh, I wanna do this. Oh, I wanna think about that." So I just throw them in here, and then I wanna organize that later on, and it's a great way to capture that information and be able to get it to different places. So what you will see is you can keep the information in drafts, or you can push it to different places outside of drafts without having to rewrite it, without having to copy and paste, without having to reformat. You can just push it where you want it to go. That makes a big difference. It removes You don't have to think about where am I gonna put it and what format does it need to be in, and do I need to copy and paste and do all of that kind of activity. So those are some of the examples. Before I move forward, I wanna let you all know, please feel free to ask a question. And if you have an example of something that you do where you're taking notes, and I'm not saying you're writing a paper or writing a script, although I do use it sometimes to write scripts, but you're just taking notes of all kinds. We've talked about all the different types of notes you need to take. Go ahead and throw it in the comments. Write a question down. I'd love to answer your question. And then if you have something that you currently do, a tool you currently use, or a notes app, digital notes app that you currently use, and you've set it up so that it takes care of some of the drudgery for you, share that with the rest of the community who's here watching with us this evening. So let's go. I want to show you guys a couple of examples. So I'm going to switch to a screen share. And what you're looking at is the Drafts app. It I'm going to close it, so if you were on you close everything up. If you opened it up, it would look like this. It's like literally a blank screen. When you open it on your phone, it looks just like this. You don't see anything except a blinking cursor. And at that point, you can start putting information in. I can just type adding information to this note. Just type the information in. But I'm not going to do it today. If I'm on I do this on my phone more. I could also voice record, and it will type what I'm saying, and it's really, really accurate. One of the reasons that I started using drafts very early on was because our friend who starts with an S on all these Apple devices would cut off. It wouldn't give me time to think of what I wanted to say or how I wanted to phrase. It would just cut off. And it was annoying me. So I started looking for, is there an app I can use that is voice translation? I can speak, it'll capture what I'm saying, and it'll type it for me. I found Drafts. It has a really good voice dictation engine, and if you stop talking and you don't turn it off yourself, it'll sit there and wait for you to start talking again. So you don't have that, you have to keep talking, or it'll only dictate for 30 seconds and then you have to restart it. That's one of the things. But the interface of this thing is you have these little toggles up here at the top so you can open up different parts. So you can use tags, You can close them up. You can just look at current notes. Over here on the right-hand side is another toggle, and these are all of the actions that you can take. This is where the magic of this tool is, where the automations happen. If you see here, I can insert dictation, I can undo something, I can move the cursor left or right, I can add task, I can do search, I can send mail. We're going to go back through that one. I can change because I've got different categories. So I have this one, I just call it Florence, and these are the things that I use all the time. So now you know where I send stuff to people all the time. New dictation, dictation, indent, outdent, copy, message. One of my favorites. One of my favorites. If this happens to you, put a one in the comments. You want to write a text message or a WhatsApp message or a social media message to reply to someone, and you, if you're like me, let me tell on myself. I'm not the most accurate typist. So if I just write it in the app, 9.5 times out of 10, there are going to be typos or misspelled words or words in the wrong order. So I tend to write them in drafts, and then I use this automation to push them to where I want them to be in using text messaging. Markdown mail and regular mail, tweet, which I don't use, I should take that out of there. But also, if I want to share it to another app like um, Day One, or I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, but anything on your computer or on your phone, you got an app on there, you wanna share it. Fantastical is oh, this is a great one. Fantastical is the calendar app that I use to manage. So I'll often write appointments right in drafts. I don't open up my calendar. I don't do any of that. I just write the information in drafts, hit this button, and it pushes it to Fantastical. I talked about Day One, which is a journaling app. Sheets, and Ulysses is a writing app that I use for long form writing. Is that I use that for. You can create a table, and then this is a special morning message that I sent out to someone. Won't show you that. But then I've got some that I do for church. So here's one of the examples that I did: sermon notes. So I want to create. Why is this not? Oh, because I'm not doing it on my. Where's my phone? Ah, here's a phone. Here's a phone. I'm gonna grab a phone and I'll create it real quick. So integration. Remember, I said integration on your phone. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm gonna get out, and it should sync over to here. Did I do it? This is when you try something and you didn't pay attention to it early enough. There it goes. I just created it. Let me make sure that yeah, there it is. It just popped in. So I created this message on my phone, and this is a template. So it always has things in the same place. It puts the date in, and then I fill in this. So I don't have to reformat this. Now, I can now take this same message. This is an example of a templated, and I can send it wherever I want to send it. If I want to send it as a message to someone, I can click this, and then my text system will come up. I'm going to send it to one of the moderators because I know he'll get me later, but I'll send it to him. And what is in that message, and you see it disappeared, what's in that message just went out as a text message. Now, I have mine set up when I do something with it, it takes it out of this inbox. You could leave it. So that's an example of a templated message. But let's use this email one because this is one that is great. So let's say I want to say, welcome. This is the email. My subject is welcome to Purposeful Productivity. The first line you write is what's going to go in the subject line. And I'm writing it and I'm going to say, hello, emotional CEO. And I'm not going to share your email address on here, but that's it. And I'm just going to say, thanks, Florence. So, what I want you to imagine is um, that you're going to write a series of these emails and you just want to have them ready to go. You leave them in here. You can set this so it doesn't disappear. You click on this markdown email and I can say send as oh, I do the markdown email from my phone. Send as plain text in on the computer, and it just opened up my mail program. Let me I don't know if I can show this to you. Let's see. I wanna use an email I don't know how to blur this. So, I'm trying to blur out what I'm trying to do is blur out my email address so I can't show it to you. So I don't show it to you. And okay, there it goes. I'm going to do a quick switch here. This is Ecamm. So what I can do in Ecamm, y'all, this is me doing something. I can temporarily switch to my email account. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show this email. So this is the email that it just created. And because I told it to do a HTML and I wasn't on my computer, but it filled in the subject and it put the content in and I could hide my email and then whoever I'm going to send it to, I can send it off. That's the point that I want to make. I didn't have to open up email, retype the message. Where is this valuable outside of, well, let's get off of that. That looks crazy. Um, where is that kind of solution valuable? Again, if you are running an event, hey, Gretchen, and you have a series of emails you want to design, hey, Mr. Rion, and you don't want to have to be in your email system. You don't want to have to be fooling with all that, bring up the interface. You don't even have to necessarily want to be at your computer. You want to be able to manage it from your phone. This tool or any tool like it is a great way to just write it and have it. Um, can this be used? Yes, you can. I often, David, I'm going to come back to your question because I'm going to start that because I actually do use it. And I'll tell you my secret. Um, but uh, excuse me, I, you're writing a series of messages that you want to get out. Maybe you have 4 or 5 or 10. You just want to write them and then you want to send them later. I write them in drafts. So I don't even open up my email program on my phone or on anything. I just write them in drafts. I write my subject, I write the content. If it's one I'm going to reuse, I have a way of setting it up so that it's available to me and then I can pop them out very quickly. That way I'm not going in and out of email. The other thing it keeps me from doing, going into my inbox, getting sucked in because, 100 emails have come in and now I'm distracted with the 100 emails that have come in when I'm trying to push stuff out. So, if that's making sense to you, let me know. Put a 1 in the comments. And hit the edges of your screen. Rion, I'm gonna make you come in Zoom and fix me. Hi, the edges of your screen is cut off. Zoom in a bit. Well, okay. Yes, sir. This is what happens when people who know what they're doing show up in your stream. I'm going to go ahead and switch that back to the other screen. I'm doing an eCam thing here, y'all. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Go back here and go back there. Okay. Now I'm back to the right place. So, okay, back to the screen share. So, David, you asked a question. Mm, I've got some private information in here, so I can't really show you, but I'll answer this. You asked a question, can you use this for YouTube? What I do is I write when I don't have mistakes, when you see me writing as a moderator and I don't have mistakes in the writing, I've pre written it here in drafts because then I can fix my mistakes before I post it, especially if it's something on the fly and I don't already have a text expansion snippet for it. So I'll write it here in drafts and I'll just be on my phone or this is an old phone. This is an old phone, but I still use it and I've got another one. I'll just grab an old phone or tablet, whatever I got, open up drafts, write what I want and push it out. What I haven't done, David, you asked a really great question. What I haven't done yet, and I'm going to capture this to do. Test sending directly to YouTube comments. Because I haven't tried that, but I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. Because I haven't found anything you couldn't integrate this application with to send content to it. So the example that I gave was an email message that I had set up. Now I'm going to find that email that I just did, and I'm not finding it. So you try to do a demo, and they never want to act right. And when I'm just doing it, it just does it. So again, email, subject, and greeting. Told you I can't type right. Content and closing. That it's every email is basically that same format. So really, you can set up as many of these as you want and have them ready to go. And then just push this button. That's if you're not on a phone and you're on a computer, you can push mail and it'll push it out and you can just run through them. The other one that I talked about was the template, which I showed you with this. If you are using, you can set up this kind of a template, and if you're used to Markdown, this is my header. So it's setting a header level 3, but I can change this to make it a header level 1 or whatever. So you can just make your sections. You can make them uppercase, lowercase, whatever. Just create the template and then you create the action. And then, so the way you do this is all of these are different ways. I use OmniFocus. So down here, I've got a bunch of tasks that I've just written down, stuff to do. And these are things that I'm actually doing. One is I'm currently researching my word of the year for 2025. And those, some of you may have seen a video I did about my scripture and my word of the year. I've already started researching what the word of the year is for 2025. That's something that I need to do. I've created all of this. I can simply take and push a button Let me go to the right place here. Yeah. And I can just send all of these to OmniFocus or OF. That's what I called it. I can send it to OmniFocus and it'll put all of those tasks into my task management system for me. I don't have to go in and do anything else except now they're in there. Now you see I've got all of the stuff like do and defer and parallel. Those are all ways that I can set up tasks within OmniFocus. So I can make it a sequential project, a parallel project, meaning it the task can run at the same time or they one has to be done right after the other. That's sequential. I can set all of those things up before I ever open my task manager. And I do it all in drafts. I can be working from multiple devices and I'm not stuck. That's stuff you want to think about because it reduces you having to be in a particular place to do that work. So if you're sitting waiting in a doctor's office and you've got a few minutes, you can just start working on, okay, I've got a list. Let me just kind of work on my list and get it cleaned up. When you're got it where you want it, now you can push it into where it's going to live. I can also use other things. I've got a gas mileage tracker in here. I've got a process meeting notes in here. All of that is preset. The way you do that, and then this is a much longer one, right? So I can do task in OmniFocus is another way I do it. It pushes it in there. Event in Fantastical. Show you what that looks like. I've got meet with Rion. And this is a real thing I got to do to fix my lighting. And I'm going to do this on Saturday, I hope, at let's say 1 p.m. I can, and I know that's what I want to do. I can say, push this to why? Oh, it didn't. I did something weird. Is, why is my Fantastical acting crazy? Well, I didn't test that beforehand, but I do it all the time. The idea is that you get it directly into your Fantastical. Now I got to see if I got to update. Yeah, I got a bunch of updates over the weekend in the last few days. So I'm wondering now if I got to update that to cause that to go kapooey. Don't make me a liar. You can, as you see here, save to a Google Drive. You can send a tweet, which I never do, and some other apps. And I can send this to my task list as well and shoot it off. And it just opened it and put that task in my task list. If I go here and say task in OmniFocus, and it just, OmniFocus has an update, not applying it. It just put it in. So that's really what I do. The way you set these up is in the, let me get to the right place. Oh, nope, 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 nope. That's my action log. That's not what I want. Here it is. Manage actions. And come on. You can create a new one, a new action group, but I just want to create an action. So I'm going to make a group because I'm going to delete this demo. And then I'm going to create an action. And what do I want it to do? If you've ever done any kind of scripting, even if you've set up in your email, I want my email to process like a rule. It's very similar. You give it a name. I almost never use a description. You can add a label. You can give it a shortcut, which I almost never do. You can tell it what you want it to do after it after the action occurs. But in this middle part, it's where you put the action. So you hit a plus, and you say, what do I want it to do? I want it to, for example, and this, I'm going to see. David, I'm going to test, see if, nope, it's not there. So I'm going to say share. And what I'm going to share is this is shared content. So I want to hard code what it's going to send out, not just what's in the draft message. And then once it does that, I want to have it run on my iOS and I want to have it run on my Mac OS. Right? So I want to share it. And I don't want to send it to their public directory. And then I want to send it to something I have on this computer is what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find an, day one. Okay, I'll do a message just because don't want to sit here and tinker all day. Just something simple. So I'm going to share it and I'm going to send a message. That's my action. So you can stack actions together. And then it's ready to go. So I'm going to find it because I called it dim one. I'm going to run it. What it's doing is it's saying, okay, where am I going to share it? Popped up, and I'm going to send this to David Hunt. David Hunt, when you get this, let me know. Put it in chat. You're about to get a text message, and I just sent you this brainstorm list. So that is kind of a very fundamental, not smooth, but it is the idea that I want to get through. And even though I practice my demo, it seems like something always happens. And I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm really truly okay with it because this shows you I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just simply trying to share what I do. And if you have a specific use case, I don't know what you mean by two up screen, Rion. Um, so you have to explain that to me. I want you to know what happens is when I'm doing these kinds of automations and the ideas that it gets, it's for you to think through, can I do something for these types of tasks that I regularly need to execute to reduce the amount of time and reduce the number of steps? Yes, you invest some time up front to set it up, but oh, I didn't know you were on camera. When did I do that? Sorry. I got somebody in Zoom on camera. How did that okay. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. um so to think about how do you automate using your notes app. And the reason I said notes app is because the primary way we collect our thoughts, our to-dos, our ideas is we make notes about them. We use that more than our calendar. We use it more than our to-do list. We use it more than, frankly, ChatGPT, because every idea starts with us. We've got to get it out of our brain. That's really what I want you to think about. And I want you to start and want to encourage you. How do I use something, whether it's drafts, Notion, whatever it is, that if it has the connections in it, that I can grab the content that I'm thinking, the ideas that I'm thinking of, the to dos that I'm thinking of, the way I process information, then how do you set it up so that you can work with it? Wasn't the smoothest demo today? I'm okay with that. If you've never been on this channel before, I do not try to be perfect because I want you to get the idea. What I will say to you is if there's something specific that you want to try, please reach out to me. I am more than willing to work with you one on one to work through it and set up what needs to be set up. I've got, as you saw, I've got a lot of automation set up in this thing. And it has not happened overnight. It's been, I've had this use case and that use case and the other use case. Oh, this idea. And I'll go, I don't want to have to keep reinventing the wheel. So I'll just create it, test it, make it work the way I want it to work. And then it's done. And I literally don't think about it anymore. Like when I go to take sermon notes, I don't, I just hit that sermon notes and I know I've got what I want. When I'm done with them, I use Evernote as my storage place. I have a automation in here that just pushes it to Evernote and puts it in the right place. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about where it's going to go. I don't have to think about is it formatted. I don't have to think about can I find it because it's got the core information that if I ever did a search, I could go back to it. And that's really the strong message. The strong message is not for me with you all. It's not about exactly teaching you every keystroke because that's going to be different depending on the tool that you use. It's to get the idea to you that you can start thinking about it and want to apply in your own workflows. And I did not say hello to a couple of people, so I want to come back and say hello to you. And if you have a question other than David Hunt, I saw it earlier. And this was the question. And David, I'm going to do some testing here because I do use it for YouTube comments, but I want to make a little automation that actually will push directly to YouTube because I haven't done it that way. I just write it in and just stick it in there. And if it's something I'm going to reuse, I'd convert it to a text expansion snippet. So that's been my way of doing it. But I definitely will do some more testing for you. And I did see Miss Yolanda. Hello, ma'am. So glad to have you in the building with us, and I appreciate you so very much. I'm actually starting to think I like football. It's your fault. And Rion, I really do need to get you to help me fix my lighting because I told you I did something and I don't know what I did. So we're going to do a lighting session. And Mr. Mike Flemings, and you are growing. Your channel is growing. So glad to have you here. Hello, sir. M3 Live Tribe representing. Did I miss anyone else that I want to greet today? Yes. Oops. Miss Gretchen. I saw you stapling that floor. I was like, ooh wee. She is brave. And now you've put up walls. Um, Watching the possible hiccups happen in real time is a valuable lesson. Remind us smooth is not a guarantee that it is just fine. Yes, it is just fine. It's not that I don't know what I'm doing. Clearly, I know what I'm doing. I've done it a long time. Demos are demos. You try something in a certain environment, it happens. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Um, and then Rion asked a question here. Does this work for Discord? I may want to use this to post directly in office hours. Um, yes, because I didn't look, but I believe there's already a connection to Discord. just like it is for Twitter and Facebook and other things. But I'll make a note. I'm going to star that and I'll come back. And you know what? You're right. Because you're doing something with office hours that this could be very useful for. So I will consider that. Thank you, David. Thank you for asking people to give it the thumbs up and share some love. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, YouTube and Discord. I'll play with it, and then when I figure it out, I'll do an actual little video and post it for you all to see how I set it up and what options I picked. So those are some really good use cases. Thank you. Yes, I will make a video about it. I will make a video about both of those. And Gretchen says, so Gretchen is building a whole studio, like literally floor, walls, all of it. And she's taking us along on her journey. And I'm like, oh my, oh my. I don't know that I would be brave enough to try that. But I'm having a blast watching you do it. And of course, reading your books. So, for those who don't know, if you have a YouTube channel, which all of you do if you're commenting, put equip, the word equip, in the comment, and your channel will show up and people can join, can come see what you're doing and subscribe to your channel and support you. Everyone who shows up here, you have something phenomenal going on in your life. And I appreciate you all being a part of this community, joining in here, learning and sharing and really truly helping me grow, because when you ask a question or get like the Discord and the YouTube, it'll make me go figure it out, and then I'll share it with you exactly how to do it step by step because I want to help you. That's my goal. So um, if you've got some other use cases that you'd like me to try, let me know. And this, get the free version and start working with the free version of it. Now, I will tell you that the web client, I believe, is not free. So if you're gonna try it, and the only reason I would use the web client, the absolute only reason I would use the web client is if you're using a non Mac computer on a regular basis that you need to put content into drafts. And I have that scenario, which is why I use it. But if you have a Mac computer, or iPhone, or iPad, I would just use it on those. And you don't have a need to use the um, the Windows app, the browser app. So go get the free version, download it to your phone, and just play with it. It looks weird because, again, when you start it up, it's just a blank screen. And all of the other things, the actions that it comes with a set of actions that are default, but I've built a lot of my own. And the way I do want to go back and show you one other thing. I want to show you this because I didn't. How is it you're showing up in the screen? What in the heck has happened here? Oh, I know what it is. I just thought of what it is. Thank you. Okay, it's still there. Okay, let me do this. Doop, doop. So what I want to tell you is I've got my screen is off now. So let me let me do this. Y'all are watching real-time stuff happening here, and it's all good. It is all good. Let me switch back to share drafts. All right. All right. So we're back. Over here on this left hand, and I didn't point this out. Over here, let me come back. Over here on the left hand side of the screen, you see this little part that says inbox, the yellow icon. I have different work groups as a way to categorize your notes. I've got different ones here. You can create these by creating these workspaces based on um, tags. So down here at the bottom, I've got a few workspaces. I've got this one for automations. These are some of the automations I've set up. I talked about that. So this is one where I produce a board meeting packet every month, and I built this, and it you don't worry about all the codes and stuff in there, but it's every task that I need to execute every month to send out this board packet. I don't retype any of this. It's a one and done. I push this over to use that send to OmniFocus, and it builds the project for me to include the due date when things are due 2 days before, 3 days before, and so forth. That's one of the things I can do in this tool, which is what the reason I keep coming back to it, because I haven't found another tool, notes app, that I can do this kind of configuration with. I have another project that I do for weekly recap. Same thing. I don't rebuild this every week. I just simply push a button, throw it into my task system, and everything I need to do step by step is there, and it pops up on the day that I need to do it. Okay. Um, Same thing for preparing for my show every week. If I have 5 going or 1 going, all of the tasks. So I have these pre-built. I did it once, push them over in my task management system, and the project is set up exactly the way I need it to run. And I don't have to remember. I put 0. When I tell you 0 energy and effort into thinking, what do I need to do for this particular activity? Because it's pre-built for me. And when I say I push it over, I use this task paper to OmniFocus. And it takes everything in this note and pushes it into my task management system and sets it up exactly the way I need it to be set up. I've got, let me see, stuff that I do for ministry in here. Um, I was going to use this knowledge management. I didn't put anything in there. I'm making sure I don't show you something that's private that I shouldn't show you. I had created this demo one, but I didn't put anything in there. So you can group the way you group these notes is using tags. So you create the tag, and then you say group all of every note that has this tag on it together. And this one, for example, for inbox says if it is untagged, leave it in the inbox. The minute I add a tag to it, let's say I add automation as a tag, automate, what you're going to see is it's going to disappear out of the inbox, and it went over into the group of tasks for automation. So that's how you can group them together and always be able to get back to them. That's the other reason I like it, because it gives me a little bit of organization if I want to leave stuff like the these projects in here, which is a huge boon. I can always get back to them, and if I want to build another one, I know it'll be in this list here called automations, if that makes sense to you. So g- really useful actions over here. And the other thing, if especially if you're a Mac user, you can pair the automations in drafts with the automations in Apple shortcuts. You can have a shortcut run a draft, and you can have a draft run a shortcut. So putting oh, by the way, you can also use Apple script. So if you use any of those, any of them, you can these work together. So there's almost nothing you can't automate with it. It's just using your creativity to figure out how you want to do the automation and what you want to automate. Okay? So, I've gone on quite a bit today, probably a little bit longer than I should have, but it's okay. Do. Let's see. Hello, good evening, Walter Strong. Glad to see you in the building again. So glad to see you in the building. And Rion, I saw that you changed over to your celebration network, so I'll definitely come check you out over there. And I'm making sure I didn't miss anybody. Making sure I did not miss anyone. So I will just say, and thank you for your encouragement again. And I'm gonna tease you. You know I'm gonna tease you, right? You the reason I'm out here. You pushed me off that cliff. It's your fault. Real men rising. It's your fault. You pushed me out here. Y- I'm still trying and making mistakes, but I'm still trying, sir. And I know that Stream Deck integration coming next, right, Florence? I, you know what? You just gave me an idea. I can put a lot of these, automate a lot of these using with the Stream Deck. My next step is to take some of these because I also, yeah, thank you. More uses for one of these 3 Stream Decks I got. Yay. Love it, love it, love it. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of your way. It's been a little bit long today, but I wanted you to walk away with the idea. The main idea is you can use your Notes app, which is so central to your functioning, to automate some of the things that you do so that you're not having to redo the work over and over. Notes is really all about writing. Words, we use words even to form pictures. So the words that we use is what turns into how we make the reality in our life. And that starts with taking notes, writing them down, figuring out what you want to do with those words. I would encourage you, if you don't use drafts, find some application that you can use simply on the devices that are regular for you, and you can um, automate as much of it as you possibly can and as simply as you can to make your work less onerous, with less friction, and you can get it out of the way, get it done as efficiently as possible. I thank you all for your time this evening. It is always a pleasure being here with you guys. And you know what's going to happen. Over here, I'm going to throw a video up on the screen. Go ahead and watch it. It's probably going to be another one about notes because it's so central to what we do. And I will see you back here next Friday at 6:30 p.m. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good night.